This week on Storyboard, we are catching up with Vidhya Srinivasan, Vice President and General Manager of Advertising at Google, whom we met at Cannes Lions Festival of Creativity. And we have Bollywood actor Bhumi Pednekar, who has joined forces with MAC Cosmetics for an interesting initiative. And we are also joined in by MAC India's Karen Thompson, sharing key insights on the beauty industry. Hello and welcome to Storyboard. I'm Shubhani Gharat. This week on the show, we are catching up with Vidhya Srinivasan, Vice President and General Manager of Advertising at Google. At Cannes, she caught up with Delshad Irani and spoke to her about the impact of AI as a productivity tool for marketers. Srinivasan also highlights the growing complexity of consumers' purchasing decisions with an abundance of touch points and an extensive research shaping their journeys. Listen in.
Let me just get your industry view on how you see technology just upending advertising as an entire industry, right? So let's get your industry view first, and then as a Google executive, what's your take on it?
Absolutely. Very exciting to feel the energy in Cannes and maybe not so much the wind, but we have it all here today. I would say, you know, the moment that we have with AI, it's almost like I don't know how marketers will continue to do their jobs well without the use of AI. And it's really because of a few trends that we're seeing with consumers. So let me just talk about a few of them. What we're seeing is consumers' purchasing decisions that they're making is more complex than ever before. People have so many more touch points. They do so much more research, and there's just so many unique paths that they're taking while they purchase goods and services. And as an advertiser, it's getting really hard to predict what these will be and how to influence these journeys. The other thing I would say is the formats has just been exploding. I mean, I'm sure you feel it yourself. It's not just text. Yeah, it's like images, it's videos, and it's also different. Videos have to be in different formats depending on the surface.
Customizing it to every platform, everything.
All of that. So again, very hard to figure out. And then the consumer's desire for privacy has gone up multifold because they are leading increasingly digital lives. So it makes sense. So if you put all of that stuff together and you think about the marketer's job of, hey, I want to serve the right message to the right person at the right time, it's incredibly complex. And I think it would be impossible to do without leveraging AI. So I see AI as the way it's going to help industry. It's really for marketers to sort of stretch their dollar. You know, they're just worried about getting incremental gains on the dollar spent.
Right.
And I see AI as their friend. I see AI as empowering them to do what they do really well.
Yes, because the debate has been going on, right? Is AI friend or foe?
Yeah.
And there are some interesting sort of conversations going on about regulations, about, you know, the extent of AI usage, and of course, safety, consumer safety. But we'll get to that in a bit. And let me talk about what you mentioned, of course, how marketers are and advertisers are looking at measurement, for instance. So I'll dial back a little bit and ask you to dig into how you are seeing advertisers strategize and deploy campaigns, and then ultimately sort of connecting the dots through measurement to business outcomes. So how is that? What is shifting? What is changing in the perception of how things work?
Yeah, so I think we are increasingly moving from a place where marketers were really responsible and for the tactics of getting their objectives met, to essentially a marketer saying, hey, look, these are my objectives. Like, I want to maximize conversions for these sorts of journeys, and maybe give us a budget or maybe not, but really stick to figuring out, you know, for their business, for their brands, what are the key objectives that make sense. Put that in their campaigns and let the campaign, the AI that runs the campaigns, really do the rest. So I almost think of the rest as commute cost. It's the stuff that you have to do, but you know, it's really not interesting. So the campaigns and the AI will now figure out, hey, what surfaces to target, which audiences to go after, which format to use. All that stuff gets figured out under the covers for them, and they stick to sort of figuring out what is it, how do they want to come across as a brand, what are the objectives that matter, and be able to do these things at a much higher level. The other thing I feel like marketers can really leverage in this process is with all the new stuff we are doing around generative AI. So generative AI can really help them increase productivity and creativity. So if you think about creatives themselves, I think with this tech, you can now really hasten the speed at which you can do creatives. Like you can say, hey, I want a ball, I put it on the beach, make the ball purple, change the color of the sky. You can do whatever you want.
Add a few humans in there.
Add a few humans in there. That's right.
There.
Make it accessible.
Yeah.
So all of that can be done in a very rapid pace. However, somebody has to decide whether what set of these things need to be done for what they're trying to achieve.
Right.
So that job still is a big part of what marketers will contribute to, but it accelerates this process. But you can also apply the technology to say even the campaign flow. So you can set up a campaign very quickly, just point to a site link and then have all the assets for the campaign auto-generated for you as a start. So it sort of gets rid of the blank page problem where you're standing with this blank page. But then the marketer can then decide what do they want to really focus on, what do they want to add, remove, change, all the rest of it. So I also see it as a huge tool to improve productivity.
Now we're seeing an entire sort of job emerge out of nowhere, right? Prompt engineering.
Right.
And it's just amazing to see what's happening. Any quick take on prompt engineering that you might have with what you're seeing out there?
I think it's similar to like, say a job family like data scientists who are like super hot right now and very hard to find. And that's really been because of the incredible use of machine learning in every aspect of technology. So this job family emerged. I think in the context of generative AI, whether it's prompt engineering or I think that may also morph into other things as the technology itself evolves.
Right.
But essentially people who are good at leveraging this to achieve the objectives, I think there are going to be opportunities for such people.
Yeah. So it's not that AI will be supreme, but it's the person running
That's
the
right.
AI.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And let me just sort of switch tracks a little bit, Vidya, and ask you about sort of something that we're hearing a lot of marketers talk about, especially this time around in Cannes. People are talking a lot about measurement. People are talking a lot about ad fraud. Now with ad fraud, of course, viewability, brand risk, all of these themes have been critical over the past few years, accelerated during COVID times, simply because digital usage went through the roof. And now tell me, what are you seeing on that front? You know, how much ad fraud is out there, and what are some of the solutions that people are looking for? What are you hearing from clients?
So I think as the adoption continues to increase, I think the aspects of safety with everything that we do, quality, relevance, the bar for all of that continues to go up. Fortunately, we've had a decade of investment in this space in terms of figuring out how to best handle ad fraud, spam, and even, I mean, this is at the other extreme, but even relevance and quality are in that vein in terms of, you know, how critical it is when we serve something. And so we've just continued to evolve our systems, and a lot of it is, in fact, AI powered and machine learning powered. And we learn as adoption continues to grow and continue to keep up. I think this is one of those problems that we will just be at as adoption continues and more people are getting on. I haven't heard particularly this being a problem of this year or last year. I think it's one of those evergreen things that there will be more people trying to do more things, and there will be more systems that needs to be built to protect against those things.
Right. So one last question, Vidya. What do you think is going to be your key takeaway from Cannes this year?
My highlight has actually been the shift in mindset. I think people have, it used to be the case a little bit like, this AI thing, how real is it? Like, how should we like embrace it? Yeah, should we just, is it a hype cycle? Should we fully embrace it? Should we maybe wait for the first movers? And now I think most people have like asked, how do I do it? Not why or when. It's like, how do I go about it? Like, tell me what I can do in the next 6 months. Tell me what I can do in the next year. And how do I, very tangible stuff. It's like, what do I tell my team when I go back? And I think that is the key takeaway. And there's just a ton of optimism. That's the other thing. Like, I just feel people be excited about something. And I really think they're excited about it is because a lot of this stuff was so behind the scenes, sort of the back end stuff. And now they're getting to use some of this tech in a very visceral way, right? It's what they can see and they can feel, and they see the power of it, and they see how it can enhance people's lives. And they can talk to their mothers about it. They can talk to their friends about it. And I think that's what's driving a lot of the excitement towards making this very real for them. So yes, happy to take all of this optimism and take it back to the teams, but we have a lot of work ahead of us.
It is time for a short break. On the other side, we have Bollywood actor Bhumi Pednekar, who has joined forces with MAC Cosmetics for an interesting initiative. And we are also joined in by MAC India's Karen Thompson, sharing key insights on the beauty business.